Kendrick Lamar's name has always stirred conversation, but right now, that conversation is louder than ever. Rumors, speculations, and behind-the-scenes glimpses suggest he's on track to reshape hip-hop in a way we haven't seen before. The centerpiece of this buzz is his recent music video release for Luther, a track that has refused to budge from its top spot on the charts. Meanwhile, Drake's Noia looms in the background, attempting to dethrone Kendrick, but so far, that mission has come up short. Today, we're peeling back the layers of Kendrick's grand strategy, the hidden messages in Luther, and the wider narrative that might just redefine hip-hop culture and possibly all of music. Whether you're a longtime Kendrick fan, a curious observer of this rivalry, or just love a good story, there's no denying that something big is unfolding. The first thing that caught everyone's attention is the timing of the Luther music video release. Drake had been ramping up promotion for Noia, dropping hints that it would be accompanied by visuals strong enough to top the charts and challenge Kendrick's reign. For a brief moment, some fans believed Drake might snag that #1 slot and keep it. But right at the start of a new music tracking week, precisely the moment Drake planned his last big push, Kendrick dropped his Luther visuals and effectively crushed any momentum Noia could have gained. Critics immediately pointed out that this wasn't just a casual release date, it was a calculated chess move. By launching the video at that specific time, Kendrick ensured he stayed several steps ahead, making Drake's last-ditch effort look like little more than a fleeting attempt. But that wasn't the whole story. Most artists, when embroiled in a public rivalry, will take direct shots, subliminal lines, or pointed references that fans can instantly decode. Drake went that route by putting subtle disses into his Noia video, referencing elements of Kendrick's style and success. It was a bit in your face, almost as though Drake wanted the audience to know he was aiming at Kendrick. In contrast, Kendrick's approach in Luther seemed to emphasize art over petty conflict. There was no obvious mention of Drake or references to Noia, yet fans who've been following the tension for years quickly picked up on the deeper layers of trolling. Kendrick's silent jabs, laced into creative visuals and release strategies, carried more weight than any direct line could. It felt like watching an expert strategist quietly execute a plan, as opposed to someone shouting about how clever they are. Diving into the video's aesthetic, Luther oscillates between striking black and white shots and bursts of full color. This duality has become a hallmark of Kendrick's recent work. During the Grand National Tour announcements, he released clips with a similar style, blending stark contrasts and vibrant hues to tell layered stories. On the surface, the color shifts simply look cool, but this approach also mirrors Kendrick's dual nature. He's both a thoughtful storyteller and a show-stopping performer. Each visual transition beckons the viewer to look deeper. Were it any other artist, fans might dismiss these visual choices as mere creative flair, but Kendrick's track record suggests every angle, every color shift, and every pause is deliberate. It hints at a bigger narrative and a new era that might connect an upcoming tour, new music, and hidden Easter eggs all at once. Right in the midst of all this excitement, we find one of the most ironic pieces of trivia. The Luther video was directed by Karina Evans. She's notable not just for her talents, but because she previously worked with Drake, directing some of his most iconic videos during what many consider his peak years around the Scorpion album. Her credits include Nice for What, In My Feelings, and I'm Upset, all tracks that defined Drake's chart dominance and global reach at the time. Now, she's behind the camera for Kendrick, helping craft a video that's locked in a quiet but undeniable rivalry with Drake. The move feels like a subtle way for Kendrick to say, even those who once helped you reach the pinnacle are now on board with my vision. Fans are reveling in the irony. It's not a direct jab that spells out his intentions, but more of a calm confidence that suggests Kendrick is comfortable working with anyone who can elevate his art even if they have ties to a rival. If you're enjoying this deep dive and want more breakdowns of the biggest controversies, music rivalries, and artist spotlights, make sure you hit that subscribe button to Celebiat Intro. You'll find more updates, analyses, and behind-the-scenes looks at your favorite stars, plus the kind of stories that keep the conversation going long after the music stops playing. When it comes to honoring music legends, Kendrick's vision extends far beyond his personal rivalry with Drake. Luther is named after Luther Vandross, a vocalist whose contributions to R&B were immense yet often underappreciated. Vandross never secured a #1 hit on the pop charts, despite his undeniable influence and acclaim. In paying tribute to him, Kendrick isn't just sampling or borrowing a melody. He's effectively shining a renewed spotlight on an artist who faced his fair share of industry snubs. With Luther holding on to the top spot for 8 weeks and counting, Kendrick is symbolically giving Vandross the recognition he never quite received. Younger listeners who might not know Luther Vandross are now getting an introduction through this track, potentially diving into his discography for the first time. It's a move that ties the past and present together, reinforcing Kendrick's role as a bridge between generations. He's simultaneously carving out his own legacy and ensuring the legends before him aren't forgotten. And what happened next would shock everyone. In the final moments of the Luther video, there's a sequence where the song pauses, allowing the original Luther Vandross track that Kendrick sampled to play. It's a bold choice. Traditionally, music videos keep the spotlight on the new record, maximizing radio-friendly hooks. Kendrick does the opposite. He halts his own momentum and invests time in letting Luther Vandross's vocals breathe, giving new life to a classic that might otherwise remain relegated to older playlists. The visuals during this break are equally captivating, eerie, intriguing, and full of small details that suggest there's more to the story. Closed-off doors, silent transitions, and cryptic imagery point to a bigger puzzle Kendrick is piecing together, possibly involving new album concepts, tour elements, or even an expansion of this current project. Meanwhile, Drake's efforts with Noya have taken a different turn. From what fans can gather, Drake's video took a straightforward approach: visual jabs, repeated references to success, and a clear attempt to match or exceed Kendrick's chart presence. Yet, the feeling among many is that Noya simply didn't land with the same cultural impact. Sure, it garnered views, but the conversation pivoted back to Luther almost immediately. Various rumors claim Drake tried to re-edit portions of his video to sharpen the disses or include more guest cameos, but these alleged last-minute changes did little to hold the audience's focus. Some insiders even say Drake's team was caught off guard by Kendrick's strategic timing, illustrating just how carefully orchestrated Kendrick's plan must have been. But beyond the immediate rivalry, it's important to see how Luther ties into Kendrick's larger vision, the Grand National Tour. If the rumors are true, Luther is just one piece of a grand puzzle. Some speculate there will be live performances that expand on the music video's storyline, possibly bringing the black and white concept to the stage with dramatic set changes that morph into vibrant color. Others claim backstage passes will offer an immersive experience, guiding fans through the symbolic doors and rooms hinted at in the music video. Kendrick hasn't explicitly confirmed these theories, but he's been known to turn concerts into artistic spectacles, weaving story and music together in ways that elevate the live show from mere performance to fully realized narrative. And that's where things get extra intriguing. Nobody really knows what the final form of this GX era is going to look like. Will there be a deluxe version of the album with additional tracks that further develop this storyline? Will there be short films released between music videos, adding context to the cryptic imagery? Could there be more appearances by big-name directors who've previously worked with rivals? The silence and playful mystery in Luther's final moments suggest something more is coming, but true to form, Kendrick is staying tight-lipped about the details. As fans, all we can do is read between the lines, dissect each visual clue, and wait for the next surprise drop. Controversies often fuel engagement, and Kendrick's latest moves are no exception. Some fans speculate that Drake, feeling cornered, might finally resort to a direct diss track, no more subliminal hints or ambiguous videos. Others say Drake may shift focus to his next album, hoping a fresh set of hits can overshadow Luther. There are also whispers that Drake plans to collaborate with another top-tier artist, perhaps a surprise partnership that could push Noya back up the charts or spawn a new single with enough momentum to rival Kendrick's unstoppable run. Yet, each time speculation like this arises, Kendrick appears unfazed, dropping cryptic social media posts or quietly working on the next part of his overarching plan. Meanwhile, hip-hop enthusiasts debate what's best for the culture. Some argue that direct competition pushes artists to innovate, resulting in more memorable music and groundbreaking videos. Others worry that the rivalry overshadows the music itself, turning albums into mere chess pieces in a war of egos. However, Kendrick seems to have struck a balance. He harnesses the thrill of competition but channels it into art that feels timeless, purposeful, and dedicated to a bigger statement. No matter which side you're on, there's no denying the conversation has everyone captivated. From a broad perspective, the Luther phenomenon isn't just about dominating Drake or securing that #1 chart position. It's about claiming a permanent place in music history. If Kendrick's track continues to reign as strongly as it has, it could outlast many other hits this year, breaking records and possibly setting new standards for how singles perform in the streaming era. The legacy of Luther Vandross, intertwined with Kendrick's unstoppable run, creates a multi-generational appeal. Older listeners feel acknowledged and respected, while younger fans discover a legend they might otherwise have overlooked. It's a win for the culture at large, bridging past icons with present-day powerhouses. The heart of all this is Kendrick's respect for lineage. Time and again, he's shown a willingness to highlight the roots of the music he loves, from jazz-infused samples on earlier albums to direct tributes like Luther, in an industry where artists often look only to the future, chasing trends and viral hits. Kendrick is taking a moment to look back, honor, and reinvent. That alone sets him apart from many peers, Drake included. Drake's style has often been more contemporary, focusing on dominating streaming playlists with catchy hooks and trending sounds. There's nothing inherently wrong with that, but the contrast becomes stark when set against Kendrick's method of weaving deeper storytelling, historical nods, and purposeful visuals. When you put it all together, Kendrick's chart success, the strategic timing, the subtle jabs at Drake, and the homage to Luther Vandross, it becomes clear that this isn't just another hip-hop beef. It's a clash of artistic philosophies, marketing strategies, and legacies in the making. Kendrick's moves indicate he sees a path to becoming more than just the top rapper of the moment. He's stepping into a leadership role that shapes the industry as a whole, championing other artists like Shaw, who's collaborated in this era, and honoring legends whose work laid the foundation. Where does Kendrick go from here? The closing silence in the Luther video, the locked doors, and the rooms left unexplored all hint that there's a meticulously laid plan still unfolding. We could see a new wave of singles, each with its own layered video. Maybe he'll grace the stage with unexpected special guests or incorporate interactive elements to immerse fans in his world building. Or perhaps the biggest surprise will be a collaborative album with someone equally invested in preserving music's past while pushing it into the future. Regardless of what happens next, this journey is far from over. So, as we stand at the crossroads of anticipation and speculation, one truth rises above all else: Kendrick Lamar has locked in a run that shows no signs of slowing. He's not just a rapper chasing hits, he's a visionary shaping the cultural narrative. Whether you're more inclined to follow Drake's punchy hooks or Kendrick's layered storytelling, it's impossible to ignore the magnitude of Luther and the statement it makes. The biggest question isn't whether Drake can catch up. It's whether anyone can catch up at all. Now, if you've made it this far and you're still curious about the intricacies of this rivalry, the behind-the-scenes power plays, and the potential twists that might catch everyone off guard, remember there's only one surefire way to stay in the loop: subscribe to Celebiat. That's where you'll find continuous updates on the Kendrick vs. Drake saga, exclusive insights, and a front-row seat to every major revelation as the story continues. Until then, keep your eyes and ears open, because in the world of hip-hop, surprises often land when you least expect them. And by the looks of it, Kendrick Lamar has a lot more planned than anyone can predict.